continuing my conversation with Pranay. Pranay is at Georgia Tech and he's been busy. Other than switching to a computer science major, he's also in the investment committee as an analyst. So I know it sounds very divergent, but again, it's something that you chose and we spoke about it in a previous recording. Today, can you tell me a little bit about the analyst's job in an investment committee at Georgia Tech? What does it entail? And how do you then maybe move towards making the committee choose the investment strategies that you have picked?
Definitely. So I think the last time we spoke, I had just completed the mentorship and I was stepping into the investment role. So I did not know what the role actually entailed and I hadn't functioned in the committee as a whole till then. So almost another semester has completed now and I have been more actively involved in the committee. So essentially the committee is divided into loads of sectors, which are essentially mirroring the actual market. I am in the consumer discretionary sector. So that entails any place where a person might spend money which is not essential. So discretionary spending essentially. So as an analyst, I've had the opportunity to pitch two stocks and reevaluate one. So my first pitch was actually a reevaluation of a present holding. So a present holding is essentially a stock which my sector already owned, and in our case that was Amazon. So we had to prepare a presentation as to why we should hold Amazon and not sell it, or why not buy more of it. Our decision was to hold it based on whatever the trends were in the market at that given time, and based on analysis of numbers and their cash flows and income statements and that sort of thing. And my next pitch was that of Ford. Now, I did not actively take part in that pitch, but it was my idea in the sector meetings, and some other students ended up presenting that to the wider committee. That did not pass, but again, that's a part of the committee because some investments take place and some don't. Now, the pitch I'm working on right now is that of Louis Vuitton because it's a discretionary stock, and that is some place where a person would spend money if they had extra cash lying around. So the process of a stock from getting pitched to getting invested in is essentially you first do a short pitch, and then in front of the investment decisions group, which is all the senior directors of the committee, they ask you questions and you respond to their questions, essentially convincing them as to why they should buy the stock. Now, after that, they allow you to proceed on to a presentation, which is a full-blown analysis of the stock after the pitch. So you go into depth into all the questions and all the numbers and everything to then come to a conclusion. The investment decisions group not to proceed with the stock investment. So that's how the process works.
That's really interesting. So, I mean, you've given good examples of what sectors you're working in and everything else. But what about some random news that comes in? You guys also discuss that, like for instance, Elon Musk taking a 9% plus stake at Twitter. Do you guys then suddenly discuss that on a forum or in meetings, or you don't care about that noise? To stay focused on the sector that you're working on?
No, definitely. We discuss all the current events happening, inflation, the Russia-Ukraine war, which has had a huge impact, especially because we're considering Louis Vuitton right now, which is in the European market. And yes, the Elon Musk thing is something which will be discussed in tomorrow's meeting. And so how the meetings work is essentially we have a sector meeting, which is my sector meeting. And then there is a whole committee meeting. All the sectors meet together. And that is when the pitches take place. So in the sector meeting is a lot more casual, and it's just a bunch of people in the same sector talking together, talking about news, talking about potential stocks, learning things, and just chit-chatting, giving updates and that sort of thing. Whereas the main committee meeting is a lot more formal, and that is when we discuss all the news items and recent happenings. That is when all the stock pitches take place. So yes, all of this news is noticed and it is discussed, and we make our decisions based on current events.
Thank you. I think that really took me into an investment committee situation. I'm sure it's really going to be useful for students who are keen on understanding how finance is taught or other clubs are run at school like Georgia Tech. All the best, Pranay, and really lovely catching up again. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.